I hate you.
Good. Hate me all you want, but you're still mine.
This was their marriage. Fighting and kissing. Enemies and lovers. A forced arrangement that somehow became the realest thing either of them had ever known. And it all started with a lie about who he really was. Not gay. Something worse. Welcome back, besties. This is to Precious and Renee. I've seen your requests on wanting your names to be in one of our stories, and like Santa, your wish will be granted. To my returning besties, don't forget to turn on your notification for this channel and drop a comment right now, so you will help push this video to a wider audience. Thank you. As you do so. The silk sheets felt wrong against Zola's skin as consciousness pulled her from sleep. Her head pounded, and every muscle in her body ached in ways that made her cheeks burn hot. She sat up quickly, clutching the burgundy sheets to her chest, and froze. This wasn't her tiny apartment in Dakar. This was a bedroom 3 times the size of her entire old home, decorated in dark grays and blacks, with floor-to-ceiling windows, showing a city skyline she didn't recognize. Philadelphia. The word came back to her like a slap. America. The wedding. The wedding night. Her hands shook as memories crashed through her mind. Her father's desperate face. The debt collectors who threatened to kill her entire family. The offer from the Park family in America. Marry their son, and her family would be protected, their debts erased. She'd said yes to save them, expecting a business arrangement, nothing more. Everyone had warned her. Soojin Park doesn't like women that way, her aunt had whispered before the ceremony. He'll leave you alone. It's just paperwork. The other women at the wedding had agreed, some looking relieved, others disappointed. A marriage in name only to a man who preferred men. Except that was clearly a lie, because the evidence of last night was written all over her body. The marks on her neck, the soreness between her thighs, the torn wedding dress crumpled on the floor beside expensive men's clothing. You're awake, Zola gasped and spun around. Soojin Park stood in the doorway of what must be a connected bathroom, a towel wrapped low around his hips, his black hair wet and dripping water down his chest. He was beautiful in a dangerous way, all sharp cheekbones and cold, dark eyes, with tattoos covering his ribs and shoulders that marked him as exactly what he was, a monster in human skin. You, she breathed, then anger rushed through her veins like fire. Everyone said you were gay. One dark eyebrow lifted. He moved into the room with the grace of a hunting cat, and Zola hated how her body tensed, how her pulse quickened. Did they? Yes. My aunt said you only like men. Half the guests whispered about it. They said this marriage would be on paper only, that you'd never touch me. Her voice rose with each word. But last night, you definitely touched me. Multiple times. So either everyone in both our families is a liar, or you're playing some sick game. Soojin stopped at the foot of the massive bed, his expression unreadable. People believe what I want them to believe. What? I spread those rumors myself years ago. He said it casually, like discussing the weather. Women are dangerous in my world. They want money, power, a claim to the Park family empire. If everyone thinks I'm not interested, they stop throwing their daughters at me. It keeps complications away. Zola stared at him, her mouth falling open. You lied to everyone? To me? I never lied to you directly. I simply didn't correct false assumptions. He tilted his head, studying her like she was a puzzle. And it doesn't matter now. We're married. The ceremony was legal. What happened last night was your wifely duty. Wifely duty? The words came out as a shriek. Zola threw a pillow at his head, which he caught easily with one hand. You tricked me. I thought this was a business arrangement. I never agreed to actually be your wife in that way. You signed the papers. You took the vows. In my world, that means you belong to me now. His voice dropped lower, more dangerous. Every part of you. Red filled Zola's vision. She'd left everything behind. Her home, her dreams of university, her freedom. All to save her family from men just like this one. And now she was trapped with a liar who thought he owned her? She jumped off the bed, wrapping the sheet around herself, and marched right up to him. Even though he was taller, even though fear whispered in the back of her mind, she jabbed a finger into his bare chest. I don't belong to anyone. Yes, I married you to save my family. Yes, I'll play the dutiful wife in public. But you don't own me, Soo-Jin Park. You don't get to decide what I do or who I am. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or interest. His hand shot out and grabbed her wrist, not painfully, but firm enough that she couldn't pull away. You've got fire. I wondered if you did. Let me go. No. He pulled her closer instead, until only inches separated them. Zola's heart hammered against her ribs. She should be terrified. She was terrified. But something else coiled in her stomach, too. Something that made her angry at herself. You want to know the truth, wife? I chose you specifically. Out of all the options my family presented, I chose the girl from Senegal, who looked ready to burn down the world in her father's photos. Why? The word came out barely a whisper. Because I don't want some weak, simpering woman who'll cry when my world gets bloody. I need someone strong enough to survive what's coming. Someone who'll fight back. His thumb traced the inside of her wrist, over her racing pulse. You proved me right last night. You didn't break. I hate you. Good. Hate me all you want. He leaned down until his lips nearly brushed her ear. But you're still mine. And deep down, you know that excites you as much as it scares you. Before Zola could respond, before she could even process his words, Soo-Jin released her wrist and stepped back. Get dressed. Breakfast is in 20 minutes. Don't be late. I have business to discuss with you about how this marriage will work. He walked toward a massive closet, leaving Zola standing there, sheet clutched to her chest, emotions warring inside her. Anger, fear, confusion. And yes, curse her traitorous body, a dark thrill she refused to name. She found the bathroom and locked herself inside, needing space to think. The reflection in the mirror shocked her. Her brown skin was marked with purple bruises along her neck and collarbones. Her lips were swollen. Her eyes were wild. She looked like she'd been thoroughly claimed, and the evidence made her face burn. A knock on the door made her jump. There are clothes in the closet for you. Soo-Jin's voice came through the wood. Wear the black dress. We have visitors coming this afternoon. I'll wear what I want. Silence. Then, softer, almost amused. We'll see. Zola wanted to scream. Instead, she turned on the shower as hot as it would go and tried to wash away the feeling of being trapped. But even under the scalding water, she couldn't stop thinking about his words, his touch, the way her body had responded to him, despite everything. When she finally emerged, she went to the closet out of curiosity. It was enormous, filled with expensive women's clothing in her exact size. Everything looked designer, carefully chosen. At the front hung a simple black dress, elegant and modest, exactly as he'd specified. Out of pure spite, Zola chose a red dress instead. It was tighter, more daring, with a neckline that showed the marks he'd left on her skin. If he wanted to play games, she'd show him she wasn't some obedient doll. She found her way downstairs by following voices. The house was massive, more like a fortress than a home, with security cameras everywhere and serious-looking men in suits stationed at doors. They nodded respectfully as she passed, calling her Mrs. Park, which made her skin crawl. The dining room took her breath away despite her anger. Windows overlooked a private garden, and the table could seat 20 people easily. Soo-Jin sat at the head, now dressed in an expensive black suit, his hair styled perfectly. He looked every inch the powerful crime boss. His eyes traveled slowly down her body when she entered, lingering on the red dress. His jaw tightened. "I told you to wear the black. And I told you that you don't own me." Zola sat at the opposite end of the long table, as far from him as possible. For a long moment, they stared at each other. The staff bringing food looked nervous, glancing between them. Then Soo-jin smiled, but it wasn't kind. It was the smile of a predator who just spotted prey. "Come here." "No." "Zola." Her name on his lips sounded like a warning. "Come. Here. Make me." He stood slowly, and panic fluttered in Zola's chest, but she lifted her chin, refusing to show fear. Soo-jin walked the length of the table with deliberate steps. When he reached her chair, he leaned down, hands gripping the armrests on either side of her, caging her in. "You want to test me? See how far you can push?" His voice was soft, dangerous. "Fine. But remember, little wife, I always win." "Not always," she breathed, hating how her voice shook. "Always." His hand slid along her jaw, tilting her face up. "And the sooner you accept that, the easier this will be for both of us." Then he kissed her, and Zola's world tilted. It wasn't gentle. It was claiming, demanding, his mouth moving against hers like he was proving a point. She should push him away. Instead, her hands fisted in his jacket, pulling him closer, kissing him back just as fiercely. When he finally pulled away, they were both breathing hard. His eyes had darkened, and satisfaction curved his lips. "That's what I thought." Humiliation burned through her. "I still hate you." "I know." He straightened, smoothing his jacket. "Now come sit beside me like a proper wife. We have things to discuss before my associates arrive." This time, Zola obeyed, but only because her legs felt shaky. As she moved to the chair beside his, she caught sight of her reflection in a window. Her lipstick was smeared, her carefully arranged hair messed up, and she looked exactly like what she was. A woman caught between hating her husband and wanting him, trapped in a game she didn't know how to play. Soo-jin served her food himself, the gesture oddly intimate. "Eat. You'll need your strength." "For what?" His smile was wicked. "Everything." 3 days had passed since Zola woke up in Soo-jin's world, and she'd spent every moment planning her escape. The problem was that escaping a Korean mafia compound, disguised as a luxury estate in Philadelphia, turned out to be harder than escaping her old life in Dakar. Guards were everywhere. Cameras watched every corner. The gates required fingerprint access, and Soo-jin himself seemed to have eyes in the back of his head, always knowing where she was, what she was doing, who she spoke to. But Zola hadn't survived poverty and desperation by giving up easily. On her 4th morning, she made her move. Soo-jin left early for a business meeting, kissing her temple in front of the staff, like they were a normal married couple. The touch made her skin burn, especially because she'd started anticipating these small moments, started wanting them, which was exactly why she needed to leave. She waited 30 minutes after his car disappeared, then slipped out the back entrance near the kitchens where delivery trucks came. She'd stolen cash from Soo-jin's office drawer and memorized the route to the nearest bus station. Freedom was 6 blocks away. She made it 4 blocks before the black SUV pulled up beside her. The window rolled down, revealing Soo-jin's stone-cold expression. "Get in the car." "No." Zola kept walking, heart pounding. The car followed her slowly. "Zola, get in the car, or I'll drag you in. Your choice." "I'm leaving. You can't stop me." "Can I?" The car stopped, and Soo-jin got out, his movements liquid and dangerous. Pedestrians scattered, sensing violence in the air. He caught up to her in 3 strides, grabbing her arm and spinning her to face him. "Where exactly do you think you're going?" "Anywhere away from you." She tried to jerk free, but his grip was iron. "I didn't agree to be your prisoner." "You're not my prisoner. You're my wife." "Same thing in your world?" People were staring now. Soo-jin's jaw ticked with barely controlled anger. "We're not doing this in the street. Get in the car. Now. And if I refuse?" He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a growl that only she could hear. "Then I'll throw you over my shoulder and put you in the car myself. Your dignity or mine. Choose quickly." Zola wanted to fight, wanted to scream, and make a scene big enough that someone would help her. But the cold calculation in his eyes told her he wasn't bluffing, and the pedestrians hurrying past with their heads down confirmed what she already knew. Nobody challenged Soo-jin Park, not in his city. She got in the car. The ride back was silent and suffocating. Soo-jin's anger filled the space like smoke, making it hard to breathe. When they pulled through the gates of the estate, Zola expected him to drag her inside and lock her in her room. Instead, he walked past the main entrance toward his private office, jerking his head for her to follow. She did, chin raised, refusing to cower. His office was all dark wood and leather, with weapons displayed on the walls like art. He poured himself a drink, downed it, then poured another before turning to face her. "Explain." "Explain what? Why I don't want to be trapped in a forced marriage to a criminal? You knew what I was when you said yes. I said yes to save my family. I said yes because I thought it was just paperwork." Zola's voice rose despite her intention to stay calm. "I didn't sign up to be owned by you." "Then what did you think marriage meant?" He slammed his glass down hard enough that whiskey sloshed over the rim. "You took my name. You sleep in my bed. You wear my rings. What part of that suggested this was temporary? The part where you lied about who you are. The part where everyone said you'd leave me alone. I never promised to leave you alone." He moved around the desk toward her, and Zola backed up instinctively. "I promised to protect your family, to give you a life of luxury, to keep you safe from the men who would have sold you to pay your father's debts. I've done all of that. And in return, I'm supposed to what? Smile and spread my legs whenever you want?" The crass words made his eyes flash dangerously. "Is that what you think happens between us? Isn't it? If you truly believed that, you wouldn't respond to me the way you do." He kept advancing until her back hit the bookshelf. "You wouldn't kiss me back. Wouldn't grab onto me like I'm the only solid thing in your world. Wouldn't make those sounds when I touch you." Heat flooded Zola's face. "That's just physical. It doesn't mean anything, doesn't it?" His hands landed on either side of her head, caging her against the books. "Then why run? If it means nothing, why does being near me scare you so much? Because I hate you. You keep saying that." His voice dropped lower, his face inches from hers. "But I don't think you hate me nearly as much as you want to, and that terrifies you." He was right, and she hated him for it, hated herself more. "Let me go." "Where would you go, Zola? Back to Senegal, where men are hunting your family? To the streets of Philadelphia, where you know no one and have nothing?" His breath ghosted across her lips. "You ran 4 blocks, and I found you in minutes. You think you can hide from me?" "I have to try. I can't stay here and lose myself." Something shifted in his expression. The anger didn't disappear, but something else joined it. Something almost like understanding. "You think I'll break you? I know you will. Every day I stay, I feel myself changing. Started waiting for you to come home. Started caring if you eat. Started wanting your attention." The confession ripped out of her. "In a year, I'll be just another obedient mafia wife with dead eyes and no dreams. I can't let that happen." Soo-jin was quiet for a long moment, studying her face. Then, unexpectedly, his hand came up and cupped her cheek with surprising gentleness. "I don't want an obedient wife with dead eyes. Then what do you want? You, exactly as you are, fighting me, challenging me, refusing to break." His thumb traced her lower lip. "Do you know how many people dare to defy me? None. Everyone either fears me or wants something from me. but you look me in the eye and tell me to go to hell. Because I'm stupid. Because you're brave. He leaned in, his forehead touching hers. I told you I chose you for your fire. Did you think I wanted to extinguish it? I want you burning, Zola. I need you to stay strong, stay stubborn, stay yourself. Because when my world tries to crush you, and it will, I need to know you'll survive. The words made her throat tight. Then let me have freedom. Let me go out without guards. Let me have friends, a life outside these walls. No. Just like that, the softness vanished. Zola shoved at his chest. See? You say you want me strong, but you keep me in a cage. I keep you safe. You don't understand the dangers out there. I have enemies who would love to hurt me by taking you. Rivals who'd torture you for information. Sick men who'd see a beautiful woman alone and take what they want. His hands gripped her shoulders. You want freedom? Earn my trust first. Prove you won't run the second I look away. How can I prove that, when you never give me a chance? The same way I'll prove I'm not the monster you think I am. Time. He pulled her against him suddenly, his arms wrapping around her. The gesture was so unexpected that Zola froze. Stay. Stop running. Give this a real chance. And if I can't, then I'll chain you to my side until you can. He said it matter-of-factly, like discussing dinner plans. I won't lose you, Zola. I can't. You're the first real thing in my life in years. Before she could process that statement, his mouth was on hers. This kiss was different from the others. Less about dominance, more about desperation. His hand slid into her hair, tilting her head back, deepening the kiss until Zola couldn't think straight. Her body betrayed her again, melting into him, hands fisting in his shirt. Wanted him. Su-jin lifted her easily, setting her on the edge of his desk, stepping between her legs. The kiss turned heated, his hands roaming her sides, her back, pulling her closer. Zola gasped against his mouth when he bit her lower lip, and he swallowed the sound, one hand tangling in her hair, while the other gripped her thigh. Tell me you want this, he demanded against her lips. I hate you. That's not what I asked. His mouth moved to her neck, finding the sensitive spot below her ear that made her shiver. Tell me you want me. Pride warred with desire. Pride lost. I want you. I hate that I want you, but I do. Good enough. He captured her mouth again, and Zola stopped thinking entirely. His hands were everywhere, learning her body, finding what made her gasp and arch into him. She tugged at his shirt, needing to feel his skin, and he helped her, shrugging out of the expensive fabric. Her fingers traced the tattoos covering his chest and ribs, and he groaned when she scraped her nails down his abs. We shouldn't, she breathed even as she pulled him closer. Probably not. He kissed along her jaw, down her throat. Tell me to stop. She should. But her body was on fire, and the way he touched her made her feel powerful and desired and completely out of control all at once. Don't stop. Something primal flashed in his eyes. He kissed her hard, possessively, his hand sliding under her dress. Zola wrapped her legs around his waist, pulling him against her, and the friction made them both groan. The desk was hard and uncomfortable, but neither of them cared. Wanted proof that this electric, terrifying thing between them was real. Say my name, he demanded, his hand sliding higher on her thigh. Su-jin. It came out breathy, desperate. Again. Su-jin, please. He rewarded her by giving her exactly what she needed, his touch skilled and deliberate, watching her face as he brought her closer to the edge. Zola's head fell back, her hands gripping his shoulders hard enough to leave marks. When she finally shattered, his name was a cry on her lips, and he kissed her through it, gentle now, almost reverent. She was still trembling when he pulled back to look at her, his expression intense. You're mine, he said softly. Say it. This doesn't change anything. Say it anyway. Zola looked into his dark eyes and saw the same confusion she felt reflected there. This thing between them was dangerous and addictive, and probably going to destroy them both. But she couldn't deny it anymore. "I'm yours," she whispered. "But you're mine too. That's the deal." His smile was slow and satisfied. "Deal." He kissed her again, softer this time, and Zola knew with absolute certainty that she was in serious trouble. Because despite everything, despite the lies and the cage and the constant fighting, she was starting to fall for the monster who'd stolen her life. And that was more dangerous than any enemy Soo-jin had. 2 weeks into her marriage, Zola woke to find Soo-jin's side of the bed empty and cold. She'd gotten used to his presence beside her, the weight of his arm around her waist, the way he pulled her close even in sleep. Waking alone felt wrong. She found him in his office at dawn, jaw tight, speaking rapid Korean into his phone. The language was beautiful and harsh at the same time, just like him. When he noticed her in the doorway, his expression softened slightly. "I have to go out," he said after ending the call. "Business emergency. Stay inside today." "How long will you be gone?" "Few hours, maybe more." He crossed to her, tilting her chin up to kiss her thoroughly. The casual intimacy still made her heart race. "Be good." "I'm always good." "You're never good. That's why I like you." Another kiss. Then he was gone, leaving Zola standing in his office feeling oddly abandoned. She tried to distract herself with breakfast, with exploring more of the massive house, with reading. She was a queen in a beautiful prison. Around noon, the doorbell rang. Zola heard voices in the foyer and wandered over curiously. A woman stood there, stunning in a white designer suit, her black hair perfectly styled. She smiled when she saw Zola, but the expression didn't reach her eyes. "You must be the new wife," the woman said in English with barely an accent. "I'm Reina, an old friend of Soo-jin's." Something about the way she said "friend" made Zola's stomach tighten. "He's not here right now." "I know. I came to meet you." Reina's gaze traveled over Zola slowly, assessing. "He mentioned he'd gotten married. I had to see for myself what kind of woman finally caught the great Soo-jin Park." The staff looked uncomfortable. One of the guards stepped forward. "Mrs. Park, Mr. Park didn't mention expecting visitors." "It's fine," Zola said, curious despite her instincts screaming warning. "Would you like tea, Reina?" "How civilized." "Yes, thank you." They settled in the formal living room, tea service between them. Reina sat with perfect posture, every movement graceful and calculated. She reminded Zola of a snake preparing to strike. "So," Reina said, sipping her tea delicately, "how are you adjusting to married life?" "It's an adjustment. I'm sure. Soo-jin can be quite demanding." The way she said it, loaded with implication, made Zola's hands tighten on her cup. "But I suppose you're learning that firsthand." "What exactly was your relationship with my husband?" Reina's smile sharpened. "Oh, he didn't tell you? We were together for 3 years. I thought I'd be the one sitting where you are now, wearing his ring, sleeping in his bed." She set down her cup with a soft click. But apparently, his family had other plans. Jealousy burned hot and unexpected in Zola's chest. "If you were together for 3 years, why didn't he marry you?" "His brother convinced him I wasn't suitable, not connected enough, not useful enough to the family business." Bitterness leaked through Reina's polished exterior. "So he ended things and found you instead. A nobody from Africa who brought nothing but a desperate father and convenient timing." The words stung because they held truth. Zola was nobody. She had no power, no connections, nothing to offer except her signature on a contract. But she lifted her chin, refusing to let this woman see her bleed. "And yet, I'm the one who's his wife now. You're just a visitor who wasn't invited." Reina's eyes flashed. "Enjoy it while it lasts, sweetheart. Men like Soo-jin don't change. He'll get bored of you eventually, and when he does, I'll still be here. I always am." Before Zola could respond, the front door burst open. Soo Jin strode in, blood on his white shirt, his face a mask of controlled violence. Behind him, several of his men carried another man who was bleeding heavily from his side. "Get Dr. Chen, now!" Soo Jin barked orders in Korean. Then his eyes landed on Reina and Zola in the living room. His expression darkened further. "What are you doing here, Reina?" "Just getting to know your bride." Reina stood smoothly. "Though it looks like you're busy, I'll leave you to your business." She walked past Soo Jin, trailing her fingers across his shoulder, in a familiar gesture that made Zola want to scratch her eyes out. Soo Jin didn't react, his attention already on the injured man being carried upstairs. "Zola, stay down here," he commanded. "What happened?" "None of your concern. Stay. Here." He disappeared upstairs, leaving Zola standing alone, tea growing cold, jealousy and worry warring in her chest. She'd known Soo Jin was involved in dangerous business, but seeing him covered in blood made it viscerally real. She waited an hour. 2. Finally, she couldn't take it anymore and went upstairs. She found Soo Jin in their bedroom, sitting on the bed, with his head in his hands, the bloody shirt discarded on the floor. "I told you to stay downstairs. And I don't follow orders well. You know that about me." She approached cautiously. "Are you hurt?" "It's not my blood." "Whose is it?" "A friend. Someone I trusted who turned out to be selling information to my enemies." His voice was flat, emotionless, but his hands shook slightly. "He's dead now." The casual way he said it should have terrified her. Maybe it did, a little. But mostly, she saw a man who'd just lost someone he trusted, and her heart ached. "I'm sorry. Don't be. This is my world. Death, betrayal, blood." He finally looked at her, and his eyes were hollow. "Still want to stay?" Instead of answering, Zola moved between his legs, her hands going to his face. He tensed, surprised, but didn't pull away. She kissed him softly, offering comfort the only way she knew how. Soo Jin's arms came around her waist, pulling her closer. The kiss deepened, turning from comfort to need. He stood, lifting her with him, and Zola wrapped her legs around his waist, clinging to him. "I need you," he muttered against her lips. "Need to feel something other than rage." "Then take what you need." He did. They came together with desperate intensity, seeking escape in each other's bodies. Soo Jin was rougher than usual, his control fraying, and Zola matched him, giving as good as she got. She left scratches down his back. He left bruises on her hips. They moved together like they were fighting and making up simultaneously. Afterward, they lay tangled together, breathing hard. Soo Jin's fingers traced patterns on her bare shoulder absently. "Reina was your girlfriend?" Zola said into the silence. "Yes." "For 3 years?" "Yes." "Do you still love her?" He was quiet for so long she thought he wouldn't answer. Then, "I never loved her. She was convenient, beautiful, connected to families I needed alliances with. But love? No. She seems to think you'll go back to her. She's delusional." He turned to look at Zola, his expression serious. "I ended things with her 6 months before I married you. It's over. She touched you like she owns you. And does that bother you?" A hint of satisfaction entered his voice. "Yes," Zola admitted, hating herself for it. "I don't like her hands on you." His smile was slow and predatory. "Jealous, wife?" "Shut up." He laughed, actually laughed, the sound rusty like he didn't do it often. "Reina means nothing to me." "Then why did she come here?" "To cause exactly this. Doubt, jealousy, trouble." He kissed her nose, unexpectedly sweet. "She can't accept that I chose you over her." "You didn't choose me. Your family arranged this. I chose you," he insisted. "Out of 6 potential candidates my brother presented, I picked you." because you looked like you'd rather die than submit, and I knew you'd never bore me." The confession made her chest tight. "Your brother helped arrange this marriage?" "Quan handles a lot of family business. Why?" "Raina said your brother convinced you she wasn't suitable, that he pushed you to end things with her." Su-jin frowned. "He did advise against marrying her, said she was too ambitious, couldn't be trusted. And now he helps choose your actual bride?" Something felt wrong, but Zola couldn't put her finger on it. "Does that seem odd to you? Quan is my brother, my second in command. I trust him. The same way you trusted the friend whose blood is on your shirt." The words hit like a slap. Su-jin's expression shuddered, and he rolled off her. "That's different." "Is it?" Zola sat up, pulling the sheet around herself. "I'm just saying, be careful who you trust. Even family can betray you. Quan would never. Fine. Forget I said anything." She started to get up, but his hand shot out, catching her wrist. "No. Tell me why you're suspicious." "I don't know. Intuition." Raina's bitterness felt personal, like someone had actively worked against her. "And your brother being involved in both ending that relationship and starting ours just seems convenient." She shrugged. "But what do I know? I'm just the nobody from Africa you married." "Stop calling yourself that." He pulled her back down beside him. "You're not nobody. You're my wife. That makes you one of the most protected, most important people in this city. Protected unless someone attacks during a meeting and shoots up your house. That won't happen again. Security is tripled." He kissed her temple. "I won't let anyone hurt you." "What about you? Who protects you?" The question seemed to surprise him. "I protect myself. That's lonely. It's survival." Zola cuddled closer, resting her head on his chest. His heartbeat was steady and strong beneath her ear. "Well, now you have me, for whatever that's worth." His arms tightened around her. "It's worth more than you know." They lay there in comfortable silence until Su-jin's phone rang. He answered in Korean, his body tensing as he listened. When he hung up, his expression was grim. "I have to go out again. Another situation." "More blood?" "Probably." He got up, starting to dress. "Stay inside. Don't let Raina in if she comes back. Don't trust anyone except me." "Su-jin?" He paused, looking back at her. "Come home safe." Something soft crossed his face. He came back to the bed, kissing her deeply. "Always." But as Zola watched him leave, surrounded by armed guards, she couldn't shake the feeling that storms were coming. Raina's jealous eyes. The brother she'd never met but who controlled so much. The enemies circling like sharks. She was trapped in a world of secrets and lies, and she wasn't sure who to trust. Not even herself, because every day she fell a little more for the dangerous man who'd claimed her as his. And falling for Su-jin Park might be the most dangerous thing of all. Zola was reading in the library when she heard voices in the foyer. Su-jin had left early again, some urgent business that had him barking orders in Korean while getting dressed. She'd gotten used to his absences, though she hated admitting how much she missed him when he was gone. Setting down her book, she wandered toward the voices and froze. A man stood there, tall and warm-looking, with kind brown eyes and a bright smile. A face from her past. "Malik?" Her childhood friend turned, and his whole face lit up. "Zola, thank God I found you." Before she could process what was happening, Malik rushed forward and pulled her into a tight hug. Zola stood stiff in his arms, very aware of the guards watching with hands hovering near weapons. "What are you doing here?" she asked, pulling back. "Saving you, obviously." Malik kept his hands on her shoulders, looking her over like checking for injuries. "Your father told me what happened, that he sold you to some Korean gangster to pay his debts. I came as soon as I could scrape together money for a ticket." "You came from Senegal to Philadelphia?" "Of course I did. You're my best friend, Zola. I couldn't leave you trapped here." His expression turned fierce. We're getting you out. I have a plan." The guards had moved closer, clearly not liking this strange man touching their boss's wife. Zola gently extracted herself from Malik's grip, trying to think through her shock. "Malik, it's complicated." "What's complicated?" "You were forced to marry a criminal. We leave, we go somewhere he can't find us, and you're free." He grabbed her hand. "Come on, we can go right now. I have money for bus tickets to New York. We disappear from there. I can't just leave." "Why not? What's stopping you?" Malik's voice rose with frustration. "Is he hurting you? Threatening you? Whatever he said, we can figure it out together like we always have." Zola's mind raced. A month ago, she would have jumped at this chance. Malik was offering everything she'd wanted. Escape, freedom, a friend who knew her before all this. But now things were different. Complicated. She thought about Soo Jin's hands on her skin, his mouth whispering her name, the way he looked at her, like she was his entire world. She thought about the strange ache in her chest when he left, the way she waited for him to come home. "One of you get Mr. Park on the phone," one of the guards said in accented English. "Now." "Wait," Zola said quickly. "Just give me a minute." She pulled Malik into the library, closing the door. He immediately started talking again, his words tumbling over each other. "I know you're scared. I know he probably has you convinced you can't leave. But Zola, you're stronger than any man. Remember when we were kids? You told off those boys twice your size who were bullying me. You've never been afraid of anyone. I'm not afraid of him. Then why stay?" Malik moved closer, his eyes pleading. "The Zola I know would never submit to being owned by someone. It's not like that." "Then what is it like? Explain it to me, because from where I'm standing, you're a prisoner playing house with your captor." The words stung because they held an echo of truth, but they also ignored everything that had happened between her and Soo Jin, the fighting and the passion, the way they challenged each other, the unexpected tenderness in quiet moments. "He's my husband," she said quietly. "A husband you were forced to marry. Yes, but now it's real. I know it sounds crazy. But Malik, I think I'm falling for him." Malik stared at her like she'd grown a second head. "Falling for him?" "Zola, listen to yourself. That's what they call Stockholm Syndrome. He's isolated you, controlled you, and now you think you have feelings for him. You don't understand. Then help me understand. Because the Zola I flew across an ocean for wouldn't fall for someone who bought her like property." The door burst open. Soo Jin stood there, his expression absolutely murderous. His eyes locked on Malik, then dropped to where Malik's hand still held Zola's arm. The temperature in the room plummeted. "Who are you?" Soo Jin's voice was deadly calm, which somehow made it worse. Malik stepped protectively in front of Zola. "I'm the person taking her away from you. Is that right?" Soo Jin moved into the room like a stalking panther. "And does my wife want to go with you?" "Stop calling her that. She's not really your wife. The legal documents and the ring on her finger say otherwise." Soo Jin's gaze finally shifted to Zola. "Tell him." Zola's heart hammered. Two pairs of eyes waited for her answer. Malik, her oldest friend, offering freedom and familiar comfort. Soo Jin, her husband, offering danger and passion and something she was terrified to name. "Malik, you should go." "What?" "Zola, no. Please. I appreciate you coming, but I'm not leaving." "He's making you say that." Malik grabbed her other arm now, desperate. "You don't have to be afraid. I'll protect you." "I'm not afraid," she said again, firmer this time. She looked at Soo Jin, saw the barely controlled violence simmering under his skin. "I'm staying because I want to." "You heard her," Soo Jin said, his voice dropping to a growl. "Let go of my wife." "No." Malik's grip tightened. "I'm not leaving her here with you." Everything happened fast. Soo Jin moved, grabbed Malik's wrist, and twisted. Malik yelped and released Zola. Before she could blink, Soo Jin had Malik bent over the desk, arm locked behind his back. Don't, Zola said sharply. Soo-jin, don't hurt him. Give me one good reason why not. Soo-jin's eyes were black with rage. He comes into my home, touches my wife, tries to take her from me. I could kill him for less. Because I'm asking you not to. She moved closer, putting her hand on Soo-jin's arm. Please, he's my friend. He was just trying to help. The muscles under her palm were coiled tight, ready to strike. For a long moment, Soo-jin didn't move. Then, slowly, he released Malik and stepped back. Get out of my house. If I ever see you near her again, I'll kill you. That's not a threat. It's a promise. Malik straightened, rubbing his wrist, looking between them with hurt and confusion. Zola, please, come with me. This isn't you. Maybe it is now. She stepped closer to Soo-jin, a clear choice. I'm sorry, Malik, but I need you to leave. You'll regret this. Maybe. But it's my choice to make. Malik looked at her for a long moment, then shook his head sadly. I don't even know you anymore. He left, and the silence he left behind was deafening. Zola heard the front door close, heard his footsteps fade away, and something in her chest ached. But she'd made her choice. Soo-jin grabbed her wrist and pulled her from the library, through the halls, up the stairs. His grip was firm, but not painful, and Zola let herself be led. She knew that look in his eyes, knew what was coming. He slammed their bedroom door behind them and locked it. Then he turned on her, eyes blazing. Who was that? I told you. A friend from Senegal. A friend who holds you like a lover, who thinks he can take you from me. He advanced on her, and she backed up until her legs hit the bed. A friend you hugged in front of my guards like I mean nothing. I was surprised to see him. I haven't seen Malik in over a year. Malik, he said the name like a curse. You grew up together. Yes, we've known each other since we were children. And has he always looked at you like that? Like he wants to own you? Zola's breath caught. He doesn't look at me like anything. We're friends. Men and women aren't friends. Not like that. Soo-jin caged her against the bed, hands on either side of her hips. He's in love with you. Blind if you can't see it. That's ridiculous. Is it? He flew across the world to rescue you, to take you away from me. His hand came up, gripping her jaw, tilting her face to his. Tell me the truth. Do you have feelings for him? No. He's like a brother to me. Brothers don't look at sisters the way he looked at you. His thumb traced her lower lip roughly. Do you want him? No. Then why did you let him touch you? Because I was shocked, and he's my friend, and I didn't think. Zola shoved at his chest. Why are you acting like this? Because I've never felt this before. The admission burst out of him. I've never cared who touched someone, never cared who they talked to or smiled at. But watching him put his hands on you made me want to paint the walls with his blood. That's insane. That's jealousy. He laughed harshly. I'm jealous. Me. I've never been jealous of anyone in my entire life. And then this boy from your past shows up, and suddenly I want to lock you in this room where no one can see you, touch you, try to take you from me. The raw honesty in his voice made Zola's anger deflate. She'd never seen him lose control like this, never seen him this vulnerable. It was terrifying and thrilling at once. I chose you, she said softly. I sent him away. I chose to stay. Why? He searched her face desperately. Why would you choose this? Choose me? I've given you nothing but a cage and demands. Because you see me, the real me, not some damsel to rescue or protect. She cupped his face in her hands. You're the only person who's ever expected me to be strong instead of soft, who wants me to fight back instead of submit. I want you to fight me, he agreed, his forehead dropping to hers. Want you to challenge me and drive me insane and make me feel things I shouldn't feel. What things? Instead of answering, he kissed her. It was possessive and demanding, his tongue claiming her mouth like he was trying to erase any memory of another man's touch. Zola kissed him back just as fiercely, pouring all her own tangled emotions into it. They fell onto the bed together, hands pulling at clothes with desperate urgency. Soo-jin's jealousy had transformed into something primal, and Zola met him, measure for measure. When he pulled back to look at her, his eyes were wild. Say you're mine. I'm yours. Say no one else gets to touch you like this. Only you. She pulled him back down. Now stop talking and prove it. He did. Thoroughly. His hands and mouth covered every inch of her skin, reclaiming territory he'd already mapped 100 times before. Zola arched into his touch, gasping his name, meeting his intensity with her own. This was different from other times. More raw, more emotional. When he finally entered her, they both groaned, and his hand found hers, fingers interlacing. Look at me, he demanded. Keep your eyes on me. She did, and the connection was almost unbearable. Something deeper that neither of them was ready to name yet. They moved together, building toward that peak, and when Zola shattered, she cried out his name like a prayer. Soo-jin followed moments later, burying his face in her neck, holding her like she might disappear. Afterward, they lay tangled together, both breathing hard. Soo-jin's arms were still wrapped tightly around her, like even in the afterglow, he couldn't bear to let go. I meant what I said, he murmured against her hair. If he comes near you again, I'll kill him. I know. Does that scare you? Zola thought about it honestly. A month ago, it would have terrified her. Now? No, it probably should, but it doesn't. Why not? Because I'm starting to understand your world. In your life, showing weakness gets you killed. Letting threats go unchallenged is suicide. She traced patterns on his chest. And because part of me likes that you're jealous, that you care enough to want to keep me. His arms tightened. I more than want to keep you, Zola. I need you. Can't imagine waking up without you anymore. Can't imagine coming home to empty rooms. Is that love? She asked quietly. Or possession? I don't know. Maybe both. He turned to look at her. All I know is you're mine, and I'll burn the world down before I let anyone take you from me. It should have sounded crazy. It should have sent her running. Instead, Zola kissed him softly, accepting the truth she'd been avoiding. She loved him. This dangerous, possessive, complicated man had somehow become her entire world. And that realization was more terrifying than any threat he'd ever made. 3 days after Malik's visit, Zola noticed Soo-jin's brother hanging around more. Kwon Park was handsome in a polished way that Soo-jin wasn't, with a practiced smile and easy charm. But something about him made Zola's skin crawl. Sister-in-law, he greeted her warmly when she came downstairs for breakfast. You look lovely this morning. Thank you. She glanced around. Where's Soo-jin? Emergency meeting with the council. He asked me to keep you company. Kwon pulled out a chair for her. I thought it was time we got to know each other properly. After all, we're family now. Zola sat cautiously. The dining room felt too big with just the two of them, and the staff seemed to have made themselves scarce. Odd. Kwon poured her coffee, added cream exactly how she liked it. You've caused quite a stir in our organization, you know. My brother has never brought a woman into the family business before. I'm not in the family business. Aren't you? You live in his house, wear his name, attend his meetings. Kwon's smile didn't reach his eyes. Whether you realize it or not, you're part of this world now. The question is whether you're an asset or a liability. I didn't ask to be either. No, you asked to save your family. Noble, really. He sipped his coffee. Tell me, how are they doing? Your father, your sisters? Suspicion prickled up Zola's spine. They're fine. Safe. Are they? Because I heard there's been some trouble back in Senegal. Men asking questions about where you went. Debts that supposedly should have been cleared, but mysteriously aren't. Zola's blood ran cold. What are you talking about? Nothing confirmed, just rumors. Quan shrugged elegantly. I thought Su-jin would have mentioned it, but perhaps he's trying to protect you from worry. He does that, you know. Keeps secrets to shield the people he cares about. If there's a problem with my family, I need to know. Of course, I'll look into it personally. His smile widened. We take care of family. That's what we do. Something felt wrong about this conversation, but Zola couldn't pinpoint what. Before she could press further, Quan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression shifted to concern. Excuse me, I need to take this. He stood, walking to the window. Zola heard him speaking in Korean, his tone sharp. When he returned, he looked troubled. I'm afraid I have bad news. What happened? There's been an incident at one of our warehouses. Security breach. Su-jin is handling it, but he paused, seeming reluctant. Some sensitive documents were stolen. Financial records. Names of associates. Very dangerous if they fall into the wrong hands. Why are you telling me this? Because the breach happened from inside our network. Someone with access codes that only family members have. Quan's eyes met hers. The investigation will look at everyone, including you. Me. I don't even know where the warehouses are. I know that. You know that. But others will see a new wife suddenly appearing right when things start going wrong. They'll ask questions. Fury burned through Zola's confusion. I haven't done anything wrong. I believe you. But belief doesn't matter in our world. Evidence does. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through something. And unfortunately, there's evidence that makes you look guilty. He turned the phone toward her. Screenshots of financial transfers. Emails sent from an address that looked like hers. Messages in broken English about selling information for money. That's not me. I never sent those. I know. But it will be hard to prove. Quan pocketed his phone. The council is already calling for your removal. Some want you arrested. Others want worse. Panic clawed at Zola's throat. Does Su-jin know about this? Not yet. The evidence just came to light this morning. But when he finds out, Quan shook his head sadly. My brother has a terrible temper, especially when it comes to betrayal. He'll know I didn't do this. He'll believe me. Will he? You've only been married a month. His trust is new, fragile. Quan leaned forward. Zola, I want to help you, but you need to be smart. Su-jin is already on edge after that boy tried to take you away. If he thinks you've been playing him this whole time, selling his secrets while sharing his bed, there's no telling what he'll do. Tears of frustration burned Zola's eyes. Why are you telling me this? What do you want? I want to protect my brother from making a terrible mistake, and I want to protect you from the consequences of someone else's scheme. He stood. Stay calm. Don't run. That will only make you look guilty. I'll investigate privately, find out who's really behind this. But you need to prepare yourself for Su-jin's reaction when he finds out. Quan left, and Zola sat frozen, mind racing. This couldn't be happening. She'd finally started feeling safe, started believing in her marriage, and now everything was crumbling. The house that had felt like a prison now felt like a trap. Guards watched her differently, like they'd already decided she was guilty. Staff whispered when she passed, and Su-jin was gone, probably hearing about the evidence right now. Hours crawled by. Zola paced their bedroom, trying to think. The emails looked convincing. The transfers showed money going to an account she'd never heard of. Whoever set her up had done it well. When Su-jin finally came home, she heard him before she saw him. His voice echoed through the house, cold and furious, barking orders in Korean. Doors slammed, people scattered. Then their bedroom door opened, and Su-jin stood there, his expression carved from ice. Is it true? No. Whatever you heard, I didn't do it. Someone accessed our financial systems using your credentials, sent emails from your account offering to sell information about our operations. He walked toward her slowly. The messages started 3 days after we married, right when you'd have access to enough information to be valuable to our enemies. I never sent those messages. I don't even know how to access your systems. The evidence says otherwise. Then the evidence is planted. Someone is setting me up. Zola's voice rose desperately. Sujin, please, you know me. You know I wouldn't do this. Do I? He stopped inches from her. I know you tried to run away. I know you let your childhood friend waltz into my home and try to take you. I know that every time I turn around, you're testing my trust. The words cut deep. That's not fair. Fair? He laughed bitterly. You want to talk about fair? I gave you everything. Protection, luxury, my name, my bed. And this is how you repay me? By selling me out? I didn't. I swear on everything I am, I didn't do this. Tears streamed down her face now. Someone is framing me. Can't you see that? What I see is evidence, hard proof that you've been lying to me since day one. His hand shot out, gripping her chin, forcing her to meet his eyes. Tell me the truth. Right now. Are you working with my enemies? No. Did you marry me to get close, to gather information? No. I married you because my father was desperate, and I wanted to save my family. And when did you start selling our secrets? Before or after you started sleeping with me? The accusation felt like a physical blow. Zola wrenched away from him. How can you think that? After everything we've shared, everything we've been to each other, how can you believe I'd betray you? Because everyone betrays me eventually. The shout exploded out of him. My partner. My friends. Why should you be any different? Because I love you. The words hung in the air between them, raw and desperate. Sujin froze, his expression flickering with something that might have been pain before the ice returned. Love. How convenient to claim that now. It's not convenient. It's terrifying and real, and the only true thing I have left. Zola stepped closer, grabbing his jacket. I love you, Sujin. I fought it, hated it, tried to deny it. But I do, and I would never, ever betray you. For a moment, she thought she'd reached him. Saw the walls cracking in his eyes. Then his phone buzzed, and he looked at it. Whatever he read, there made his expression harden completely. The council has called an emergency meeting. They want you there to answer for what you've done. He pulled away from her. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Come quietly. You're really doing this? You're going to drag me in front of your people like a criminal? You are a criminal. The evidence proves it. Then your evidence is wrong. She wanted to scream, to break something. I thought you were different. Thought you actually saw me. But you're just like everyone else. The second things get hard, you believe the worst. And you're exactly like I feared. A pretty distraction who'll tear my life apart from the inside. He moved to the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I wanted to believe you. Wanted to think that what we had was real. It is real. If it were real, you wouldn't have betrayed me. He looked back once, and his eyes were empty. Get dressed. We leave in 10 minutes. The door closed behind him, and Zola collapsed onto the bed, sobs tearing from her throat. This was wrong. All wrong. Someone had set her up perfectly, planted evidence that looked damning, and now the man she loved thought she was a traitor. Think, she commanded herself through the tears. Who benefits from this? Who wants her gone? Raina, the ex-girlfriend who'd warned her Sujin would get bored, who'd looked at her with pure hatred. But would Raina have access to create such convincing evidence? Then she remembered Quan, how he'd been so helpful, so concerned, how he'd told her about the breach before Sujin did, almost like he'd wanted her to panic. How he'd suggested running would make her look guilty, then made sure she'd do exactly the opposite by warning her. Kwon had arranged the marriage in the first place, had access to all systems, could easily create fake emails and transfers. But why? What did he gain from destroying her relationship with Soo-jin? The answer hit her like lightning. Control. If Soo-jin was devastated, distracted, vulnerable, who would step in to run things? His trusted older brother. Zola's phone buzzed. An unknown number. She almost ignored it. Then something made her look. Check your husband's desk. Bottom drawer, left side. The truth is waiting. Her hands shook as she read the message. It could be a trap. Could be more manipulation. But what did she have to lose? She ran to Soo-jin's office, praying he was still getting ready. The desk was locked, but she'd watched him enter the code enough times. Her fingers fumbled the numbers twice before the drawer clicked open. Inside was a folder, labeled with her name. She pulled it out with shaking hands and opened it. Financial records showing money being funneled from Park accounts. But not to rivals. To Kwon's private accounts. Years of theft, carefully hidden. Emails between Kwon and Raina, planning to frame Zola, to drive a wedge between her and Soo-jin. Messages about taking over the organization once Soo-jin was dealt with. This was it. Proof that she was innocent. Proof that Kwon and Raina were working together. But she had maybe 5 minutes before Soo-jin came looking for her. She grabbed the folder and ran. Zola's feet pounded against marble floors as she ran through the house. The folder clutched to her chest like a lifeline. She could hear Soo-jin's voice behind her, shouting orders in Korean. Guards would be coming. She had minutes, maybe seconds, before they caught her. She burst into the garage, scanning for options. She ducked inside just as footsteps echoed in the garage. The space was dark and cramped, filled with old furniture and boxes. Zola squeezed between a dusty armoire and the wall, trying to control her ragged breathing. The folder pressed against her ribs, every page inside representing her only chance at survival. Find her! Soo-jin's voice was pure ice. Check every room, every closet. She doesn't leave this property. Footsteps scattered in different directions. Zola waited, counting her heartbeats, trying to think. She couldn't hide forever. Eventually, they'd search here too. She needed a plan beyond running. Her phone buzzed silently. Another message from the unknown number. Warehouse District, Pier 17, 1 hour. Come alone or the evidence disappears. This was definitely a trap. But what choice did she have? Stay here and face Soo-jin's wrath without proof? Or take the risk, and maybe, just maybe, find whoever was helping her? She waited 20 agonizing minutes until the garage went quiet. How to survive in his world. Now she'd use those lessons against him. The perimeter wall was 15 feet high, but there was a service gate near the gardens that the landscaping crew used. Zola picked the lock with a hairpin, her fingers shaking, prayers on her lips. When it clicked open, she nearly sobbed with relief. The streets of Philadelphia had never looked so dangerous. Every car could be Soo-jin's men, every stranger a potential threat. But Zola kept moving, using alleys and side streets, heading toward the warehouse district. Pier 17 was exactly as run down as it sounded. Abandoned buildings lined the waterfront, their windows broken, their walls covered in graffiti. The smell of dead fish and rust hung in the air. As the sun began setting, shadows stretched long and menacing across the broken concrete. Zola approached the designated warehouse cautiously, every instinct screaming danger. The massive sliding door stood partially open, darkness yawning beyond it. She clutched the folder tighter and stepped inside. Hello? Her voice echoed in the vast empty space. Dim light filtered through broken skylights, illuminating rusted machinery and scattered debris. I'm here. Show yourself. Movement in the shadows made her spin. A figure emerged, and Zola's breath caught. Not Raina, not Kwon. Someone she'd never seen before. A young woman in jeans and a leather jacket, with a laptop bag slung over her shoulder. "Mrs. Park, glad you made it. Who are you?" "Someone who's been watching the Park family for a long time. Someone who knows exactly what Kwan is planning." The woman set her laptop on a crate and opened it. "My name is Ji-yeon. I used to work for Kwan before I figured out he was stealing from the organization and planning a coup. Why should I trust you?" "Because I'm the one who left that folder in Soo-jin's desk, because I sent you those messages, and because, in about 20 minutes, Kwan is going to make his move, and if we don't stop him, both you and Soo-jin are dead." The blunt words sent ice through Zola's veins. "What move?" "Kwan's been planning this for 2 years. Frame you. Turn Soo-jin against you. Then, when Soo-jin is emotionally destroyed and vulnerable, stage an attack that kills him and makes it look like you're doing. He becomes the grieving brother who takes over. You disappear, and everyone wins, except the 2 people who actually matter. But the folder has evidence against him. Evidence he doesn't know exists. I've been secretly documenting everything, waiting for the right moment." Ji-yeon's fingers flew across her keyboard. "But you running changes the timeline. He'll accelerate his plans. The council meeting, it's a trap. Kwan has men positioned to kill Soo-jin the moment he walks in." Zola's world tilted. "We have to warn him. He won't believe you. He thinks you're a traitor, remember." Ji-yeon looked up, her expression grim. "The only way to save him is to get this evidence to people he trusts before the meeting starts. And we have 18 minutes. Then what are we waiting for? For you to understand the risk. Kwan knows I turned against him. If he finds us, we're dead. No trial. No mercy. Just dead." Ji-yeon started copying files onto a flash drive. "Last chance to run. Save yourself." Zola thought of Soo-jin's face this morning, the betrayal in his eyes, the hurt beneath the anger, the way he'd looked at her, like she'd ripped his heart out. She thought of every moment between them, good and bad, the fighting and the kissing, and the slow, terrifying fall into love. "I'm not running. Tell me what to do." Ji-yeon smiled grimly. "Smart and brave. No wonder he fell for you." She handed Zola the flash drive. "Get this to Min Seo, Soo-jin's head of security. He's loyal to his core. He'll know what to do with it. I'll create a distraction." "What kind of distraction?" "The kind that might get me killed. But someone needs to pay for what Kwan's done, and it might as well be dramatic." Ji-yeon pulled out her phone. "Min Seo's number is programmed in. Go, now. And Mrs. Park, tell Soo-jin his brother's been stealing from him since their father died. That'll get his attention." Zola took the phone and the flash drive, then impulsively hugged Ji-yeon. "Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We both might die tonight." Ji-yeon pulled back, her expression fierce. "But if we don't, and you 2 work things out? Name your first daughter after me." Then she was gone, disappearing into the shadows, leaving Zola alone with evidence that could save her marriage or doom them all. Zola ran. Her lungs burned and her legs ached, but she pushed harder. The flash drive clutched in her fist like a talisman. Min Seo's number rang twice before a gruff voice answered in Korean. "Min Seo? This is Zola Park. Don't hang up. I have evidence that Kwan is planning to kill Soo-jin tonight at the council meeting. I need you to listen to me." Silence. Then, in accented English, "Mrs. Park, where are you?" "Warehouse District. But that doesn't matter. What matters is stopping this meeting. Kwan set me up. He's been stealing from the family for years, and he's working with Reina to frame me and kill Soo-jin. That is a serious accusation. I have proof, files, emails, financial records, all on a flash drive. Ji-yeon helped me. She used to work for Kwan but turned when she figured out his plan." Another pause. "Ji-yeon contacted me 3 days ago with similar claims. I've been investigating quietly. If what you say is true, we are running out of time. The meeting is in 15 minutes. Then you better run fast, Mrs. Park. I'm at the main house. Bring me that drive, and pray you're telling the truth, because if you're not, Mr. Park will kill you himself." The line went dead. Zola looked around, trying to orient herself. The main house was at least 4 miles away. No time to find a bus. No money for a cab, even if she could find one. She ran. Her fancy shoes weren't made for this. But she kept moving, the flash drive digging into her palm, imagining Soo-jin walking into that meeting, imagining bullets finding him, imagining never seeing him again. Halfway there, a black SUV screeched to a stop beside her. Zola's heart stopped, preparing to fight or die trying. Then the window rolled down, revealing Min Seo's scarred face. "Get in!" She dove into the back seat, and the car was already moving before her door closed. Min Seo drove like a man possessed, weaving through traffic, running red lights. Another guard sat in the passenger seat, speaking rapidly into a phone in Korean. "The flash drive," Min Seo demanded. Zola handed it forward. Min Seo plugged it into a laptop, his eyes scanning the screen as they drove. His expression darkened with each passing second. This is damning. Years of theft, communications with rival families, plans to eliminate Mr. Park and take over. He looked at Zola in the rearview mirror. "You were telling the truth." "Of course I was. Many people lie to save themselves. You could have run. Instead, you risked everything to save him." Something like respect entered his eyes. "You love him?" "Yes." "Is that going to be a problem?" "No. It might be the only thing that saves you both." Min Seo's phone rang. He answered in Korean, his voice sharp with orders. When he hung up, his jaw was tight. "The meeting has already started. We're 5 minutes away. Can you stop it?" "I'm trying. But Kwon has men positioned everywhere. If we burst in with accusations, they might start shooting immediately." He met her eyes again. "This is going to get bloody, Mrs. Park. Stay in the car when we arrive." "Absolutely not. If Soo-jin is in danger, I'm going in." "You'll get killed." "Then I'll die trying to save him. That's what love means." Min Seo actually smiled, brief and sharp. "You'll do." The boss chose well. They screeched to a stop outside a nondescript building downtown. Guards lined the entrance, but they recognized Min Seo and stepped aside. Zola followed him inside, her bare feet leaving bloody prints on expensive carpet. The council room was behind massive wooden doors. They nodded, drawing weapons, taking positions. "When I open these doors, stay behind me," Min Seo told Zola. "No matter what happens, don't step into the line of fire. Just save him. Please." Min Seo nodded once, then threw open the doors. The scene inside made Zola's blood run cold. Soo-jin stood in the center of the room, surrounded by older men in expensive suits. The council. And positioned around the perimeter, trying to look casual but clearly ready to strike, were at least 6 guards. Kwon's men. Kwon himself stood beside Soo-jin, one hand resting on his brother's shoulder, in a gesture that would look supportive to anyone who didn't know better. But Zola saw the truth. Saw the position that would let him push Soo-jin into the line of fire when the shooting started. Soo-jin's eyes found hers across the room, and a dozen emotions flashed through them. And beneath it all, something that might have been hope. "Zola?" His voice cracked on her name. "What are you doing here?" "Saving your life, apparently." She stepped forward despite Min Seo's warning hand. "And proving I didn't betray you. That evidence was planted by someone who wants you dead." Kwon's expression didn't change, but his hand on Soo-jin's shoulder tightened. "Brother, don't listen to her. She's clearly desperate, saying anything to save herself." "Is that why she's bleeding and barefoot?" Min Seo stepped forward, his weapon drawn but not pointed. "Because desperate liars usually take time to put on shoes." "What is the meaning of this interruption?" one of the council members demanded. "We're in the middle of addressing this woman's betrayal." "The only betrayal here is Kwon Park's." Min Seo held up the flash drive. "I have evidence. Years of theft. Communications with rival families. Plans to murder Soo-jin Park tonight. Frame his wife, and take control of this organization." The room exploded. Council members shouted, guards shifted, and Kwan's face finally showed his true nature, cold calculation replacing fake concern. "You have no proof," Kwan said smoothly. "Just the desperate lies of a woman who got caught stealing our secrets." "I have plenty of proof." Min Seo gestured to another guard, who began setting up a laptop. "Financial records showing you funneling money to private accounts. Emails between you and Reyna plotting Zola's downfall. Messages about killing your brother once he was vulnerable enough. Fabricated, all of it. Then explain why your men are positioned for a kill shot." Min Seo's voice was steel. "Why they're surrounding Mr. Park with weapons drawn while council members sit unarmed. This isn't a meeting. It's an execution waiting to happen." Soo-jin finally moved, stepping away from Kwan, his eyes sweeping the room. Zola watched him process everything, saw the moment belief crystallized. His brother had betrayed him. "Stand down," Soo-jin ordered his men, not Kwan's guards, the ones actually loyal to him. "New positions. Protect the council. Consider Kwan's men hostile." Everything happened at once, and Kwan himself grabbed Soo-jin, pulling a gun from his jacket, pressing it to his brother's temple. "Nobody move!" Kwan's mask had shattered completely. "I've worked too hard, waited too long, to let this fall apart now." "Kwan, don't." Soo-jin's voice was eerily calm. "It's over. Surrender." "It's not over until I say it is. I should have been the one in charge after Father died. I'm older. I'm smarter. But no. Father chose you, the golden boy who could do no wrong." Venom dripped from every word. "Do you know how long I've hated you? How many years I smiled and supported you while planning your death? Since the beginning, apparently." Soo-jin didn't struggle, didn't fight. Was any of it real? Did you ever actually care about me? You were always just an obstacle to overcome. Kwan backed toward the door, dragging Soo-jin with him. "Now you're going to get me out of here safely, or I paint the walls with your brains." "Let him go." Zola stepped forward before she could think better of it. "Take me instead. I'm the one you framed. Use me as your hostage." "Zola, no!" Soo-jin's eyes went wide with panic. "Don't! The little wife wants to play hero?" Kwan laughed coldly. "Fine. Come here. Slowly." "Don't do this," Soo-jin said, and his voice broke. "Please, I can't lose you. And I can't lose you." Zola moved forward, hands raised. "So I'm doing what I have to do." She was 3 steps away when the explosion rocked the building. The windows shattered inward, and smoke filled the room. Kwan's grip on Soo-jin loosened in surprise, and that second of distraction was all they needed. Soo-jin drove his elbow back into Kwan's ribs, twisting away from the gun. Min Seo fired, hitting Kwan's shoulder. And Zola, acting on pure instinct and rage, grabbed a heavy glass paperweight from the nearest desk and swung it at Kwan's head with all her strength. The impact made a sickening crunch. Kwan went down hard, blood pooling beneath his head. Around them, Soo-jin's men had subdued or eliminated Kwan's guards. The threat was over. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Soo-jin turned to Zola, and the look on his face shattered her. Pain, relief, love, terror. All of it mixing together into an expression so raw it hurt to see. "You could have died," he whispered. "So could you." Then they were moving, crashing together in the middle of the smoke-filled room, his arms wrapped around her so tightly she could barely breathe, and she clung to him just as fiercely, both of them shaking. "I'm sorry," he breathed into her hair. "I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I should have trusted you. Should have known you'd never betray me. You were scared. I understand that. I was terrified. Terrified of losing you. Terrified of being wrong about you." He pulled back just enough to cup her face. "I love you. I've been afraid to say it. Afraid to feel it. But I love you more than anything. I love you too. That's why I couldn't run. That's why I'll always choose you." He kissed her then, desperate and claiming, pouring every emotion into it. Around them, guards secured the scene, council members emerged from hiding, and Min Seo barked orders. But Zola and Su Jin were in their own world, finally united, finally believing in what they had. When they finally broke apart, Ji Yan stumbled in through the shattered windows, singed and grinning. "Did I miss the dramatic reunion?" "The explosion was you," Su Jin demanded. "Someone had to create a distraction. Plus, I've always wanted to blow something up." Ji Yan looked at Kwan's unconscious form. "Is he dead?" "Not yet." Min Seo checked for a pulse. "But he'll wish he was when he wakes up in our interrogation room." Su Jin's arm stayed locked around Zola's waist, like he couldn't bear to let her go. "Take him. Get everything we can from him. Names of everyone he was working with. Every secret he sold. Every plan he made." His voice was ice. "And when we're done, make sure everyone knows what happens to traitors in this family." The threat in his words should have scared Zola. Instead, she felt safe, protected. Home. "Come on," Su Jin said softly, turning her toward the door. "Let's get you cleaned up. Your feet are bleeding." "I had to run. There wasn't time for shoes." "You ran across Philadelphia barefoot to save me." He lifted her into his arms, carrying her like she weighed nothing. "You're insane." "I'm in love. Same thing." His laugh was shaky, but real. "Same thing." As they left the building, Zola caught sight of their reflection in a cracked window. Both of them were covered in blood and smoke, her bare feet dangling, his arms locked around her. They looked like they'd survived a war. In a way, they had. And somehow, impossibly, they'd survived it together. The emergency council meeting 2 days later was nothing like the attempted ambush. This time, Su Jin sat at the head of the table with Zola beside him, not hidden away or dismissed, but acknowledged as his partner. The message was clear. Anyone who questioned her answered to him. Kwan knelt in the center of the room, hands bound, face swollen from interrogation. 2 guards flanked him, weapons ready. Around the table sat the most powerful members of the park organization, their expressions ranging from anger to disgust. Zola tried not to look at Kwan's broken form too closely. She'd hit him hard enough to crack his skull, and while he'd survive, he'd never be the same. Part of her felt guilty. The rest of her remembered that gun pressed to Su Jin's temple and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. "The evidence has been reviewed," Elder Kim announced, his weathered face grave. "Financial theft spanning 7 years. Communications with rival families, including the Tanaka Syndicate and the Russian Bratva. Plans to assassinate Su Jin Park and frame his wife. The charges are substantial and proven beyond doubt." "Kwan Park," Elder Lee spoke next, her voice sharp as glass. "You were trusted with the second highest position in this organization, given access to our most sensitive operations, treated as family. How do you explain your betrayal?" Kwan lifted his head, and despite his injuries, hatred burned in his eyes. "I explain it by saying I deserved to lead. I was older, more experienced, but Father chose him." He spat blood at Su Jin's feet, the favorite son who could do no wrong. "So you decided to destroy him?" Elder Park, a distant cousin, looked disgusted. "To murder your own brother out of jealousy? I decided to take what should have been mine from the beginning." Kwan's voice was raw but defiant. "And I would have succeeded if not for her." His gaze shifted to Zola, pure venom in his eyes. She met them steadily, refusing to flinch. "The African nobody who somehow bewitched my brother, made him soft, weak." Kwan laughed bitterly. "The irony is, I arranged that marriage to give me leverage over him, another person to threaten, to use against him. I never expected him to actually fall in love with her." Su Jin's hand found Zola's under the table, squeezing tight. She squeezed back, grounding him. "Your expectations are irrelevant," Elder Kim said coldly. "The sentence for betrayal of this magnitude is death. Does anyone speak against this judgment? Silence. None. Then it's decided. Elder Lee stood. Quan Park, you are stripped of your name, your position, and your life. The sentence will be carried out immediately. Guards moved forward to drag Quan away. He struggled, finally showing fear, his defiance cracking. Wait, Sujin's voice rang out. Everyone froze. I claim the right to carry out the sentence myself. He's my brother, my betrayal, my responsibility. The elders exchanged glances. It is your right, Elder Kim acknowledged. But are you certain? Killing one's own blood leaves scars. I'm certain. Sujin stood, his face carved from stone. He tried to kill me, tried to destroy my wife, used our father's memory to justify his greed. If anyone ends this, it should be me. Quan was dragged to a smaller room. Zola started to follow, but Sujin stopped her. No, you don't need to see this. If you have to do it, I'm not letting you do it alone. Zola, no arguments. We're in this together, remember? All of it. The good and the terrible. She took his hand. I won't let you carry this alone. Something in his eyes broke and healed simultaneously. He nodded, and they walked together into that small, bare room where justice would be served. What happened next was quick and final. Zola didn't look away, even when everything in her wanted to. She watched Sujin do what his world demanded, watched him become the man his position required him to be. And when it was over, when Quan's body lay still, she was there to catch Sujin when his hand started shaking. It's done, she whispered, holding him. It's over. I killed my brother. You executed a traitor. There's a difference. Is there? His voice cracked. We grew up together, shared a room as children. He taught me to ride a bike, to throw a punch, and I just ended his life. He stopped being your brother the moment he pointed that gun at you. Zola pulled back to look at him. You did what you had to do to protect your family, to protect all of us. That's not murder. That's survival. They stood there in that room of death, holding each other, and Zola felt the weight of the life she'd chosen settle more firmly on her shoulders. This was Sujin's world, violence and loyalty and hard choices. And she'd promised to stay beside him through all of it. The weeks that followed were chaos. Reina was found hiding in a hotel on the outskirts of the city. Her arrest was swift, her judgment equally so. She'd cooperated with Quan, helped frame Zola, and endangered the entire organization. The council showed her the same mercy they'd shown Quan. None. Zola didn't attend that execution. Some lines she wasn't ready to cross yet. Jiyan was offered a substantial reward for her help, but she refused money. Instead, she asked for a position in the organization's security division. Someone needs to make sure this never happens again, she said. Minseo agreed immediately, and just like that, Zola had an ally who understood both worlds. The organization itself needed rebuilding. Quan had been systematically weakening it for years, selling information, creating vulnerabilities. Sujin worked 20-hour days fixing what his brother had broken, and Zola worked beside him, learning the business from the inside. Some of the older members grumbled about a woman being involved in operations. Sujin shut down those complaints with a single meeting where he laid out exactly what Zola had done, how she'd uncovered the betrayal, risked her life to save him, proven her loyalty in blood and fire. She's not just my wife, he'd said, his voice brooking no argument. She's my partner in everything. Anyone who disrespects her disrespects me. Anyone who questions her loyalty questions mine. Is that clear? It was very clear. After that, the grumbling stopped. But while the external threats were handled, the internal wounds took longer to heal. Sujin had nightmares, waking up gasping, reaching for Zola to make sure she was still there. Some nights, he couldn't sleep at all, just stared at the ceiling processing everything that had happened. Talk to me, Zola said one of those nights, holding his hand in the darkness. What are you thinking? that I almost lost you, that I was ready to condemn you without real proof, that my own brother hated me enough to spend years planning my death. His voice was raw. How did I not see it? How was I so blind? Because you loved him, because you trusted him. Those aren't weaknesses, Soo-jin. They almost got us both killed. But they didn't. We survived. We won. She rolled to face him, her hand on his cheek. And now we're stronger, because we know what real betrayal looks like. We know what real love looks like, too. He turned into her touch, kissing her palm. I don't deserve you. You absolutely don't. But you're stuck with me anyway. She smiled in the darkness. For better or worse. Till death do us part. Remember those vows? I remember everything about our wedding. How beautiful you looked, how terrified you were, how much I wanted you even then. His arm wrapped around her waist, pulling her close. I should have told you that night that you'd become everything to me. You can tell me now. You're everything to me, Zola Park, my wife, my partner, my reason for existing. He kissed her softly, reverently. I will spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you. You already have. She kissed him back, deeper. You chose me over your brother, over your organization, over everything. That's all the proof I need. They made love slowly that night, taking their time, relearning each other after the trauma. Every touch was a promise. Every kiss, a renewal of vows. And when they finally found release, tangled together, Zola knew with absolute certainty that they'd survive anything as long as they had this. A month after the betrayal, Soo-jin called Zola to his office. She found him standing by the window, looking out over Philadelphia, his expression thoughtful. What's wrong? She asked. Nothing's wrong. Everything's actually right for the first time in my life. He turned to her, and something in his eyes made her breath catch. I've been thinking about what you said, about trust, about partnership, about really sharing everything. Okay. I want you to officially join the organization, not just as my wife, but as my equal. Co-leader. Your name on documents, your voice in decisions, everything. Zola's mouth fell open. Soo-jin, that's huge. The council will never agree. They already have. I told them it wasn't a request. It was happening. He crossed to her, taking her hands. You saved my life. Saved this organization. Proved you're smart and brave and capable of making the hard choices our world requires. Why shouldn't you have the authority that comes with that? Because I'm a woman? Because I'm African? Because I've only been here a few months? Because you're perfect for it. Because you see things I miss. Because together, we're stronger than I ever was alone. He kissed her knuckles. Say yes. Be my partner in everything, officially. Tears pricked Zola's eyes. A month ago, she'd been a prisoner in a forced marriage. Now she was being offered real power. Real choice. Real partnership. Yes. Of course, yes. More? How can there be more? Forever sounds perfect. Understood. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's perfect. But it's about to get more complicated. He took her hand, placing it on her stomach. You're pregnant, Zola. About 6 weeks. She froze. What? How do you know? I haven't even taken a test. Dr. Chen called me. You had blood work done last week for your physical, remember? She found elevated levels and wanted to confirm before saying anything. I told her to tell me first so I could surprise you. His smile was nervous and hopeful. Surprise. Zola's free hand flew to her stomach, joining his. A baby. Their baby. The family they'd talked about in abstract terms was suddenly real and growing inside her. We're going to be parents. We're going to be parents, he confirmed. Are you happy? Scared? Both? Definitely both. Definitely happy. Tears spilled over. Oh God, Soo-jin, we're going to have a baby. He laughed and pulled her close, spinning her around like he had on their wedding night. When he set her down, he dropped to his knees, his hands gentle on her still flat stomach. "Hello, little one," he whispered. "I'm your father, and I promise to protect you and love you and teach you to be strong like your mother. You're already the luckiest kid in the world because you'll have her as your mom." Watching him, Zola felt her heart swell impossibly larger. This dangerous man, this crime boss, this person who'd stolen her life and given her a better one, was going to be a father, and he'd be amazing at it. "Also lucky to have you as a dad," she said softly. "Protective, loyal, willing to burn the world down for family." He stood, kissing her deeply. Our family. Our future. Our forever. 9 months later, Zola held their daughter in her arms, watching Sujin pace nervously beside the hospital bed. The labor had been long and difficult, but the moment they'd placed this tiny, perfect person on her chest, everything else had faded away. "Can I hold her?" Sujin asked for the 10th time, clearly desperate but not wanting to rush her. Of course. Zola carefully transferred the baby into his arms and watched his expression transform completely. He looked down at his daughter, like she'd hung the moon. "She's perfect. She's absolutely perfect." He traced her tiny face with one finger, tears streaming down his face unashamedly. "Hi, Jimin. I'm your dad. I'm going to love you forever." They'd named her Jimin, after Ji Yan, who'd saved their lives, and a Senegalese middle name honoring Zola's mother. She was a perfect blend of both parents, with Sujin's dark hair and Zola's warm brown skin. And when she opened her eyes briefly, they swore she looked at them with ancient wisdom, already knowing she was loved beyond measure. "Our family," Zola whispered. "Our family," Sujin agreed. And there, in that hospital room, looking at the life they'd created, together, both of them understood what they'd been fighting for all along. Not power, not security, not even love exactly. But this, family, home, a future built on choice instead of force, a legacy of love instead of violence, from enemies to lovers, from forced marriage to true partnership, from survival to thriving. They'd walked through fire together and emerged stronger, bound by something unbreakable. Forever had started the moment Zola chose to stay instead of run. But it continued here, in every choice they made to choose each other, choose love, choose family. Every single day, for the rest of their lives. And that, they both knew with absolute certainty, was more than enough. It was everything. The end. Thank you so much for joining Zola and Sujin on their incredible journey from forced marriage to true love. If you loved this story, smash that subscribe button so you never miss our future romance stories. Drop a like on this video, and please comment below telling us where you're watching from and what your favorite moment was. Your support helps us create more amazing content. Until next time, keep believing in love, even when it comes from the most unexpected places.